This is a story about our road trip around the western U.S. in an electric vehicle with a baby. This part is about our road trip from Santa Fe to Denver and really the places we stayed in those cities and how we managed our charging when we did not stay at places with chargers.
I'm ready. Set.
Yeah, ready.
And here we
are pulling into Bandelier National Park with Weldon at the helm, with Robin as his first mate up there, who got us into the park for free because he's a senior citizen, and with Marianne and myself in the back. But the exciting news is that this is Linden's first national park.
So as our first kind of side trip, we took a trip down to Cedar Crest. It was an hour driving, and that one was just fine. And then we just did this trip to Bandelier, about an hour drive there, hour drive back, and we went from 80%, looks like 46. A bit of a challenge of just visiting folks is that, a lot of houses don't have chargers or outdoor places where you can plug in. Tucson, and we were able to, they had an outdoor socket, and over the course of 10 days there, just kind of slowly charged the car up off a wall outlet. But without access to that here in Santa Fe, came over to the Electrify America station to get a quick charge and pick up a few things at the store.
All right, we're gonna see how the car turns around in the snow. I'm gonna get out of the way. Looks like it's done pretty well. There we go. Whew. Car versus snow. Car 1, snow 0.
Saturday, the 8th of January, we're getting loaded up in Santa Fe. Time to get ourselves on the road to Denver.
Our first stop is Wagon Mound. It said we should get there with about 76 miles of charge remaining. I think we're going to beat that. It's always really conservative first thing in the morning when it's cold, and then the car heats up and the gasometer gets a bit better. We're just looking at the mountains here and saying, oh, it's in a way a shame that we're not taking the scenic route, but I apologize for calling this the less scenic route. It's pretty. It's very pretty.
We're here in a little nothing of a town called Wagon Mound. So that's interesting because it suggests that wagons came here. And what's also interesting is, but you can see behind us there's a railroad. I don't know if you can see it. And we are at a gas station. And we are charging our electric car. So it's just kind of mind-blowing to think about the different modes of transportation over the decades and centuries that have passed through here. It's kind of cool. It's like a really interesting sense of time passing and technology changing over that time. So, fun trip.
Estimated range when we left said we would get here with 76 miles of range remaining, but we got here with 103. The gasometer is really conservative at the start of the days. So if you look at it in the morning when it's cold and you haven't had your tires rolling and everything, it's always going to tell you you have less range.
Yeah. Whee!
It's a cattle guard getting on the interstate here. Okay. Leaving Wagon Mound. Our next stop we estimate will be Pueblo, Colorado, though I think it's Wissenberg has some chargers as well. If we need to pull over sooner, because this next stretch otherwise I think is kind of like 2 hours, 20 minutes, and that might be a long stretch for midday. Going through or over Raton Pass, the border of New Mexico and Colorado, and it definitely looks like there was some fire here. So many dead trees off to our left.
Alright, we are seeing out the left side of the car the front range of the Rockies. You can see them a little bit there. Alright, trying to capture these two stunning peaks again. I think all this footage is going to be a little unusable because it's going to be too bumpy, but it's fun.
Yeah, we went from 80% battery to like just under 20% battery. It was a long drive. Good job, Lyndon. Are you on? No. So it's going slow. We're getting it at 14 kilowatts an hour right now, which is annoyingly slow. Switched chargers, the one that was going at 14 kilowatts an hour, and switched, plugged into this one. Now it's going 114 kilowatts an hour. So that's a lot better. Okay, now this one's going at 126. Let's see if that sticks, because so here's what we've seen so far. This one, it got up to 114 and then it errored out twice, and so we were like, all right, that's not good. This one, both the plugs were only going at 14 or 15 kilowatts per hour. Not good enough. This one is off. The screen is off. This one, someone else was plugged into when we pulled up. He was driving a prototype Kia EV. It didn't have a model number or model name or anything on it. And it had a manufacturer license plate. So that was pretty cool. But anyway, so he was using this one, so we assume this one works. It was going 126 for us, so assume that's going to be good. So we've arrived here in Denver. We haven't gone to the Airbnb yet, but it's just me and Lyndon hanging out for a little bit before we go over to that. And then it looks like just a few miles down the road there's Vietnamese for dinner. I can't tell you the last time we had Vietnamese food, so looking forward to that.
Yay. I don't know, man.
Going for a little walk in Denver.
In the snow.
Definitely, though, we need a all-terrain stroller for this sort of environment. It is a very cute neighborhood, though. We just visited your aunt and uncle.
And she's an aunt because I always grew up calling her Aunt Alice. Sorry.
Aunt.
I know we like to say aunt for other things, but she's Aunt Alice.
Aunt
Alice and Uncle Judah and Cousin Amy and Cousin Vivian.
The last of our family that we're gonna bump into on this trip. The rest of the trip, it's friends from here.
Yeah.
We also, so Colorado's charging infrastructure is excellent. And when we were driving up here, we just looked and there were a few chargers, easy walk, one just at the end of the road. And so we just pulled in there. It's a Type 2 charger, so we were getting just around 6 kilowatts an hour. Plugged in there, had the nice visit, and charged up. And it was free. Though it required us to use the ChargePoint app, it was free. So, and now we're headed back to Denver.
Oh, it's free?
Yeah. I'm in Arvada. We're doing more trips in and out here. So we were up to Boulder yesterday where we had a charger. And then today I went to Arvada and back, and now we're gonna go to Golden and back this afternoon. These add up, actually. So it's my first time using EVgo, and I tried tapping the Ford app here, like with my phone. Didn't work. It beeped and said it couldn't read. So paying with card, which is suboptimal, and now it says connecting. Took a moment, now it's going. Running at 70-ish kilowatts per hour. So I'll be here just a few minutes. Had plenty for the trip that I'm doing today, but just wanted to make sure that I didn't end the day, you know, in like the teens.
We then drove up to Fort Collins, but encountered a problem with the chargers there, so had to charge on our way back.
We pulled into an Electrify America because what's the story that with EVgo?
It's been disappointing. It didn't work at the REI last night, and it didn't work at the Discovery Museum in Fort Collins either. And it seems like there's some problem with their software on their stations or something.
Yeah, it worked for me. I stopped at an EVgo very briefly, and it worked for me. It was fine. But yeah, we've had now 2 disappointing EVgo things. So here we are back at Electrify America.
When staying in a place without a charger, there were 2 solutions that worked for us. One, doing little side trips to places that had a charger, either just sitting there for 20 minutes to charge or to pay a visit to the store. And 2, sometimes there were plugs that were easily accessible and we could get a slow trickle charge over the course of our time staying there. Like we did in Tucson, or here later in Portland, where we were able to plug into the ceiling of the garage. Up next, we're headed from Denver all the way across the west to Bend, Oregon.